Hey, what is up, folks? Thanks for slopping by. I totally didn't just do a whole video forgetting to hit record. Let's just hop into it. This is another rendition episode, week 2 of Buffalo local TCG meta. So yeah, let's show you what I got this time. So starting off, we got the best of one league challenge. That happened the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. This one had 19 people show up. There was a couple people I didn't get. I know one of them was playing Megalopunny. There was a whole deck I missed, so sorry about that. But it was the first like local league challenge where it wasn't a challenge, just like league where Phantasmal Flames. Everyone was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and play it. So Megalopunny, people wanted to play it. I got domed by it. I went 1-2 here. Let me show you, bro. I went 1-2 here, and my only win was the round 1 bye, which let me go around and see what people were playing, which was nice. And then I proceeded to get absolutely domed by Megalopunny. I mean, literally, I went first. I had lilies in hand. Or no, I went second. Sorry, I went second, but I had lilies in hand, but I also had rare candy backs, and I had Hoot Hoot inactive and Frigate backs on the bench. I'm like, well, I'm just going to save lilies. Turn 2. Attached to Rotom in the active, put down a stadium, rare candy, evolved Dust Noir, and I'm like, all right, you got it, you know, chill, bro, chill. Shout out Mike. And then round 2, paired into Roland's Guardy. I've yet to beat his Gardevoir. So yeah, it's got cooked. Just got cooked. Been messing around with new builds. I'll get into that in a little bit. But speaking, not about me, but of the league, Mega Box, we had a couple Dark Boxes, Guardy. We had an Ogerpon Meganium. It wasn't a jungle dumping deck. There was no Venusaur. It was just straight Ogerpon Meganium. So that's pretty interesting. And then, yes, you're reading that right. That is a Conkeldurr. Shout out Anthony. He is the king when it comes to running not the craziest deck, but the most out-of-the-box deck, if that makes sense. But Conkeldurr's not one of those decks, but it's actually a pretty solid deck. He day 2'd with that at Pittsburgh, so shout out Anthony for that. But yeah, you know, a little bit of everything here. You know, nothing crazy outside the Megalopunny. And then we go on to a league challenge. I know this says the 28th, but it's really the 29th. Or no, it does say the 29th. Let's go. So this one I wasn't able to get standings for. I left like a round before it ended because it was just going a little long and I wanted to go home. I was tired, you know. It was after Thanksgiving. It was it day after Black Friday? Yeah. Right? Do I even have these dates correct? This would have been on a Saturday. That might have been the 30th. No. It's the 29th. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about the dates. But we got a nice mix. We got an Alakazam EX in here. So, I mean, mind jacking is pretty cool. I've always thought about building an Alakazam deck myself. So it's nice to see, like, people are doing that at locals. We have Future Box. So we do have 2 Mega Venusaurs. It's a mom and her son. They were both playing the same deck, which honestly, between you and I, come here. Between you and I think Mega Venusaur, pretty solid deck. Like, I don't think it's BDIF or anything, like not even tier 1, not even tier 2. But get back to me in 4 months, and I think like it's not that terrible of a deck. It has all the tools to be good. It's just a matter of maybe a card or 2 making it better. You know what I mean? We got a couple of Dingos, Mega Box again, a Zoroark. You're reading that correctly. That does say Skeleturge GX, that is Anthony. I saw the deck list. It had the Metal Skeleturge, had Blaziken, I think, and Badoo. It had a bunch of, not bizarre, but definitely interesting stuff. It's definitely not a deck that I have the deck list for. I mean, if somebody wants it, I'm sure I could ask. I think he posted in like the local Buffalo Discord, so maybe I could send it your way. Just let me know. Let's see. Anything else? Mega Lucario. Mega Lucario is another one of those decks where I think after rotation, it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be like a tier 1 deck. Maybe not like S tier, but like it's definitely gonna. It's just a really good deck. You know, 130 knocks out most stuff. Accelerate energy out of your bench up to 3, which is nuts. Then for 2 energy, you're doing 270. But then you have Gravity Mountain and what is it? Power Up Pro, where you get like one or the other, both of those, and now you're like one shotting like Dragapult. You could even like knock out other megas if you like play your cards right. So I think personally, like that's a deck I'm definitely gonna try out. It's just really good, really good. Let's move on to Madhouse's League Challenge. Only 8 people showed up. But I felt like with 8 people still enough to like include on this. We had two Guardies, Lopunny, Chiampao. I mean, we're going to see Chiampao at every single one of these because, I mean, that's the only way I get to get this information unless somebody passes it along for me, but I'm playing Chiampao. We just got to live with it. Zoroark, Dark Box. I went 1-2 here. I got cooked, honestly. I was just messing around. It really made me rethink my Noctowl build for Chiampao because it just felt just a little slow, a little inconsistent, you know, still working on it for those who care. Let's see. Anything I need to really talk about here? I don't think so. This is just, you know, local league. Not many people, but, you know, we're seeing the same deck, Zoroark, Dark Box. Dark Box is one of those decks where I think, like, right as Phantasmal was legal, it's like, let's try this deck out. I don't know if the deck's particularly good or great, but I think it's got the tools there. I think somebody could, like, make a nice rogue deck with, like, the right 60 to make it really solid. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. We have the Millennium Games Cup. So, yeah, this one I have a lot of info here on the screen. Don't worry about it. We'll get into it. So, yes, I want to first and foremost shout out my boy Frank for taking the W for Buffalo at a Rochester Cup, all right? Now, this cup had 6 Guardies, 5 Dragapults, 5 Zards, 4 Dangos, and everything else was just like 1/1/1s, which, speaking of ones, you see this? 1 Chienpao, 1 Raging Bolt, both in top cut. That's me. That's my boy Dino. That's my boy Dino right there. We just, I mean, it's kind of the same purpose. You know, it's kind of similar decks. Not the same deck, but similar decks. But you know what? I haven't been able to play him at like a local, but he got second place at the last Millennium game, comes back in August. So to see him get podium again, I mean, he's just like that. He is, as he described, a Rochester Cup merchant. Which I disagree. He's nice. He's nice with it. Same thing with Roland here, getting 4th place. Shout out Kyle, too. I want to give a special shout out to Corey here. He drove Roland, Kyle, and I to the cup. We all made top cut, but he unfortunately missed. So, Corey, if you're watching, we appreciate you, all right? You got the next one. And speaking of which, we had, let's see, 34 people. I think we counted 11 people from Buffalo showed up. So that's like a third there already. Like, it was an invasion. And then 5 of us, almost half of the Buffalo people, made top cut. And then 3 of us were in top 4. And then 1 of us won it. Speaking of which, let me... Where is it? Oh, it's already there. Let me talk about this Alcremie EX. I'll get into that on the next slide. But, I mean, from what I understand, it had Deontay in it. And I'm calling it Alcremie EX deck because it's funnier that way. But the reason I even have this info is shout out Macy, one of the local judges in Rochester. She's one of the judges for the cup. She even made this graphic, sent along this usage stats. So Macy, you're the real MVP. Please respect your local TCG and like VG judges for Pokemon. They're just as much of the part of the community as you are. So yeah, Macy, shout out. Really cool that you did all this and was able to give us this information and make this graphic. It's very kind of you. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So 6 Guardies, 5 Dragapults I wanted to talk about. I talked about it in the first time when I thought I hit record but didn't. So 11, right? 11 usage for a 34-person cup between 2 of the best decks in format. I didn't hit a single one in 6 rounds. 7 if you include the top cut game I played. Like, I didn't hit a single Guardian Dragapult. I played Eevee Box, and then round 2 I hit Goldango, which I thought I was cooked, but I managed to... my opponent didn't set down another Gimmighoul to evolve into a Goldango at one point. He even talked to me after the game. He's like, yeah, I should have grabbed Buddy Buddy earlier in the game off his Arvins. Because I went, like, I knocked out a Solrock, and then I took Goldango, and then I knocked out a Fez he had put in the active to, like... hope that I didn't have it. So I got really lucky against that one. Then round 3, I played Hal, who's like he was on Mega Box. He's a really strong Rochester player. I played him. I lost because I bench locked myself. I wasn't able to like really do anything about his Crustles, and I never got a second Bax Caliber set up because I bench locked myself. So I just misplayed, and he just played correctly. He just cooked me there. Round 4 is pretty nuts. I played a Charizard. Here, let me talk to you about this. Get a little closer here. I played a Zard, right? I took 1 prize early, and then he got a Zard set up and Pidgey. He swung. It's like the Terra one, right? Where Noctowls, which he told me after the game, which sucked. He prized both his Noctowls because he went Fan Rotom turn 1. put his Hootoos down and then picked him up and then grabbed a Pidgey and then something and then a Pidgeot. He grabbed 2 Pidgeys and a Pidgeotto, and I'm like, ooh, what's going on here? So what ended up happening was it got like late in the game. I was down to, he had 2 prize cards left. I had 3, right? I see a Zard. I know he has Pidgey. I'm like, you probably just quick search for whatever you need for your game. Like, I'm cooked. But I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to swing. You know, I swing for however much damage. I think I already had 40 damage counter. So I swung for 300, got the knockout on the Terrazard. What happened was he had 2 fire energies in his hand, not in the deck. And he played Dawn and then realized what happened. He's like, you're not going to believe the 2 cards are in my hand. So he couldn't go for Dawn, evolve the Charmeleon that was on his bench, get the energy, put it in the active, and win for game. So then he had to go like Fez. He had to set up, because he had Terapagos with 2 fire energy. He had to get Area 0 off quick search and then pray that he like drew into a buddy to get like 8 on the bench. He missed it by about 2 Pokemon, because I think, yeah, because it would have been 3 times 8, would have been 240 for knockout and Chienpao. He whiffed it, and then I just had Lonazade and Superior Energy Retrieval as 2 of my 5 cards in hand after I drew for turn. I'm like, yeah, I just got it. So that one I got away with. Chienpao's a little bit of luck, a lot of hoping. And then I went on to play Frank. The first of 2 times I played Frank, obliterated. I just bricked. He just set up. It was insane, bro. I had damage counters everywhere. It wouldn't stop. And then I was like, oh, you know, I have 2 losses. I think I'm out. And then I realized I was like, they posted the standings. I was 10th at the time. And then there was one person, I think it was this Elijah gentleman, who was 9th, who we ended up both winning around 6. Because spots 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think were all guaranteed top cut. But it was 5, 6, 7, and 8 who were all 3, 1, 1. So none of them could ID. They all had to play it out. Which I want to give a special shout out to Dino and Roland for getting top 4. In round 5, they paired into each other. They were both 3-1. They agreed to ID in that moment. These 2 gentlemen right here, these lovely men, decided to ID so they didn't knock each other out, and then went on their next round to both win and both make top cut. And then they both made top 4. So I don't know. That's the meta, bro. Just be chill. Just be chill. It pays to have friends. And then I played Frank in top cut. Obliterated me. I mean, it wasn't even close. But Frank's really like that. Now, speaking of Frank, I want to give one more shout out to him. He gets our first ever Player of the Week award. All right, I'm going to give a local Buffalo player the Player of the Week award once every video. You know, someone who's just, you know, on their grind, or someone who I think deserves some recognition. You know, Frank, he won the cup. He won a cup. He went out to Rochester. He put on for his city. We all did, but he did the most. He got the mat. So special shout out to Frank. Especially, you know, I got to respect him after we played 1 game in Swiss and then 1 best of 3 where I got 2-0'd. In those 3 games I played against him, I took 2 freaking prize cards. So yeah, you know, he's just really like that. And then let's get into the total usage stats here. So total usage stats for like a good like 4 events, 3 leagues, 1 cup. But I mean, we have what, 77 decks here? Yeah, 77 decks. So I mean, Guardy's the most used, right? Guardy at 10, Megabox at 8, Dragapult at 7, Zard 7, Mega Lopunny at 7, and then Dango at 6. Which Dango being out of the top 5 here is a little weird, but I think it's just one of those things where because I went to so many like local league challenges, or not, I keep calling it challenges, but just like local league nights, right? People were trying to play Mega Lopunny because it was like the new deck for Phantasmal Flames that like, other than Dark Box, but those were like the 2 new ones. Everything else was just like maybe adding a couple cards like Dawn or something. But yeah, I mean, we got like a good mix of like a little bit of everything here. And let's see. Oh, I want to show you the weird and funny decks. This is another thing I want to start doing. So we have Alcremie, we have Alakazam, and Skeleturge. I mean, they were all from well, Alcremie was from a cup, so that one I gotta say, I'm gonna put some respect on his name. Maybe it knows, maybe he's got something I don't know about, but I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind. But Skeleturge and Alakazam, I mean, I'm not gonna call them like Mickey decks or anything like that. I think it's fun to see people experiment with decks or like decks you don't really see that often, because it really makes it fun to play the game. That's really one thing I really enjoy. I mean, it's not fun to sweat all the time. Like I think at the cup, one of my opponents I was playing, it was. I think the Zard player, he had like just this crazy turn, and I'm like, I was just sitting there smiling. I'm like, dude, that was sick. Like that was sick as hell, dude. Yeah, no, it's just fun to see different stuff, you know. I'm never gonna feel bad if like someone just like brings something I don't know about and I just get like knowledge diffed and I'm just like, oh, I guess, you know, I didn't know, but it's fun, you know. I mean, I play Chien Pao. Some people side note, some people I remember in Top Cut, some people were like off to the side talking about how to beat Chien Pao. And I'm like, this is insane. I've played Chien Pao since I started playing the TCG because I pulled the Paldea Evolved Build and Battle Kit Bax Caliber deck. And I'm like, yeah, I know how to beat Chien Pao. For those of you who wonder, all right, I will give you the secret, okay? Let me bring you closer here, okay? Okay, look in my eyes. Look in my eyes. You know how to beat a Chien Pao deck? You knock out the Bax Calibers. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Just don't let them have Bax Caliber. All right, takes 2 turns to set up Bax Caliber. That is the engine. Now, if you're in a position where like energy's already on board and you gotta knock something else out, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been in that situation. I can't remember a time I've actually played against Chien Pao. Maybe once, and it was someone using my deck. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not thinking about Chien Pao. Maybe I'm not putting enough respect on Chien Pao's name. But you just knock out Bax Caliber, dude. Let's see. Anything else? We got anything else crazy here? Oh, wait. Here we go. So what I want to do was take all the like usage stats from like the first week I did this, right? Which was only like 5 days, but you know, still enough. And then if we add them here, oh gee, no, damn it, hold up, technical difficulties. Control C, then Control V. Don't hit Control C twice, folks. There we go. And this is already aggregated. We see that Guardy is like high up there still. You know, Guardy is just like the most used deck. And then we see Dango get above Mega Lopunny. And this is one thing I was thinking about as I started doing this little recap stuff. I know this video is going on a little long. I'm sorry I'm yapping, but I just want to talk to you guys, you know? Just listen if you would like. But it's funny to see how on like a local level, when you see like the usage stats of like a regional or like an IC, like we always see like Guardy up there. I mean, I don't differentiate between like the builds of like Guardy, Dango, or Dragapult. Although there was like one where it was Zardpult, I think that I had somewhere. Where was it? Best of One League or Millennium Cup? Yeah, Pult Zard. That one is just straight up a different deck than from Pult or Zard. That is just 2 decks put together, you know? But outside of that, I don't really try to differentiate. It makes a headache and it makes this chart look way worse. But I've always wondered if it's because of like what you see from top players at like ICs and like big events and regionals, where people see that and then they play those decks because they think the deck is good because so many people play them, or if it's from the other way in the reverse where people play at a local level and then they're like, okay, yeah, the deck is good, let's take these to regionals, and then like it spreads. Because I mean, it's pretty much what I'm saying is I wonder which way the water flows. Does it trickle down from the regionals, or is it from like a local grassroots level then it goes up into the regionals? I think it's more trickle down because like you have so many resources like Live, you have Limitless, you have a lot of people who just post deck lists and you see what's performing well. But between you and I, listen, you could pick up a good deck, but I think you have to still be a solid player. I don't think there's any such thing as an easy deck. I know people like to say, oh, Goldango's an easy deck, or like Zard's an easy deck. Like there are decks that are more beginner friendly for sure, where like it's not as much resource management or as much set up and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You have to worry about your next play every time because there's something different you have to do. Like Guardy, I think is like the big BDIF, whatever you want to call it. But it's a box deck. It is essentially a box deck. You know, you have Drifloon, you have Screentail, you have Guardy, you got the Monkey Dories. There's a lot to keep track of. I don't think that's beginner friendly. But I mean, I think it's what's higher skill ceiling, maybe that's not the right word. But what I'm trying to say is I think you have to still be a solid player, you know? Like just play the deck, you know, play comfortable to your skill level. I think that's a good message. I mean, I played Chien Pao, right? I got a top 8 here, and then the last cup, I got a top 4. You know, I got back-to-back top cuts at cups playing Chien Pao, which I think most people would argue not a good deck, which I would agree. It's not that great of a deck because of how much you have to set up. But once you get going, you know, if you're able to sequence correctly, I think like it has potential there. You know, it has potential. It can at least like knock out big mega Mega Evolution Pokemon, which gives you 3 prizes, which I think that's the only really saving grace I have with it right now. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about in this video? I hit record this time. I hit record. Oh, dude, it's 20 minutes. I'm sorry for yapping so long, guys. Thanks for staying with me. But yeah, this was the local Buffalo Pokemon TCG report. Thanks for watching. You know, subscribe if you want to see more Buffalo stuff. And for any Rochester folks who might stumble across this, you know, feel free to watch. Feel free to do some investigation. Make sure we don't win the next cup there. Or maybe y'all do your research and maybe you win the next cup here in Buffalo. I don't know, you know. I'm going to put respect on y'all's name. Or even folks from Toronto or, I don't know, the Erie region. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thank y'all so much for watching. Again, I want to shout out Frank. Did I shout out Corey? I'm going to shout out Corey for driving us. I'm pretty sure I shouted him out. And shout out Roland. Shout out Brad. Shout out Jack. Shout out Pat. Oh, my gosh. Shout out Kyle. I'm so sorry for whoever I'm missing. Shout out Tyler. Shout out all the people from the Buffalo area who went to the regional. Shout out Mike. Or not the regional, the cup in Rochester. I'm so sorry, guys. There's so many of us. But yeah, thanks for watching, and go Chien Pao.